On the edge of hope. Along a fly-tipped rat run, despoiled rural outreach of suburbia, a woman in a child's frame propels a pedal-less child's bicycle with a rhythmic sweep of her legs, marshalling this lane of her childhood with a protective Gillies eye, twitchy outcross hound. Beguiling misanthrope, proud vigilante throwback, able to zero a rifle, tie a fly, dress a pheasant, stand her ground, and when she has cause to buy, with as much fat as you can muster. Unyielding then and now, staring out from all our pasts, her photographic memory and eye not too far-fetched to muse with all the attributes of a spy. Held up by her deaf, indomitable back, fueled hooligans track her heels, in loud bravado witless wheels. No way past now, until at road's bend the bridge of her youth, where the lure of pitching guile and invested fly to kiss these languid waters, to trick an outthought trout, now meets with leery, sweary mouths, the who, how, where of saved lives in a real war zone, not worth a hill of beans. Thank you. Next poem is called Tyrcannel, which will be known to almost everyone here, Tyrcannel Wood. I live, I'm lucky enough to live within walking distance of Tyrcannel, and it's just a really, really special place in my life. Buried deep in our psyche, yet not so deep, the primordial woodland disarms us with its voice, silencing ours with connections near lost. Beneath oak and lichen canopy, foraging and fossicking as we go, in achingly gentle stillness, hands plunge finger deep into cool moss pools, heron-neck stumps saw picked clean in death, sculptures in search of light. Lone oak time capsule, carapaced hourglass, for now inactive, camouflaged in the shadow of slumbering granite, umbilical thread intact, permanence in situ. Dormant chrysalis, what will become of you? What will become of you? Today I choose not to engage with you, not to share your wonder with my child, roll your shell around my palm. On another day, mood and season, I search for you, a needle, nothing.
Now the thing about this statue is that it's bronze, and the eye is just a hole. There's a different view through the hole. That's the eye of the statue. It's called Henry More's King and Queen in Dumfries. They sit rooted in rocks, fossilised trees, their heads broken stumps, their eyes pierced holes which might in other places frame a circle of high-rise buildings, docksides, part of the sea. But here they just framed the sky, at this moment a circle of pale cobalt blue, a wisp of white. But when dawn breaks, yellows and oranges, that palest of blues, jostled together in that silent orb of bronze. Imagine the changes that happen here, the black of storms, the grey of a misty day. In winter, rain dripping like tears, etching the bronze with rivulets of turquoise, staining the feet and the rocks below. And in winter, they must be blinded by snow. Their eyes are glassy white, their heads crowned or haloed, their laps a sheet of ice, their clasped hands frozen. At night they sit together, never sleep, but contemplate their kingdom, a sliver of moon, the stars. Sometimes when I work outside, the sea mist comes, wells up like a great wave, tumbling over the hills towards me. Icy fingers of air push before it, creep into the folds of my clothes, goose pimple my flesh, and damp the warmth of the sun. Billows of white fill the valley, drift all around. I am on an island in the sky, the sun is still shining, until the sea mist rises up again and I am lost within it.
Called ash. I'm spreading out from the fire on the yard a snaking pattern from a carrier bag onto compacted stones. It's lucky there's no wind. The black sky is clear, the stars perfect, the plough a signal, Jupiter a torch. I'm spreading ash in the beam of a torch. The year is dying. We sit before the fire, consoling ourselves that nothing is ever perfect. Weeping and laughter weave a pattern. Shriveled leaves are herded by the wind into the bed of the stream among the stones. Rain will bed down the ash between the stones of the yard. I've thrown away the torch is useless, and now I'm listening to the wind in the chimney stirring the embers of the fire. Nights and days make a syncopated pattern that in hindsight may seem perfect. Parts of the dying year were almost perfect. Children gathered veined and mottled stones to arrange on the garden steps in a pattern they understood. At night we used a torch to hunt for slugs and mushrooms. The fire wasn't needed. We flew kites in a gentle wind. Remember all that, remember, while the wind tears at the trees and sings a perfect anthem of solitude. Stoke up the fire, carry the ash to spread among the stones. Remember to buy a more reliable torch. Gaze at the heavens' undeciphered pattern. Our lives are embedded in the endless pattern of generations borne along by the wind of time. If we are bearers of the torch of hope and wisdom, we are no less perfect than those who raised the rings of standing stones, measured the lunar months, and discovered fire. Ash from our stove will make a perfect bed for our footsteps. There among the stones we tread to search for logs to stoke the fire.
At the lake's edge, a space between us on the bench, we watch our reflections waver on the surface, spiked with bright spots from the moon. Moths brush our faces. We think of bats, the way they swoop round rooms not touching, their bodies soft-furred, dark as the night's instincts. A carp kisses the surface, ripples water in widening circles. We never see him dance between the weeds at the lake's dappled edges before we walk home, hands in pockets.
This first one's called A Single Narcissus. A single narcissus stem, pulsing to open the perfect, pristine bud, just sitting, waiting, waiting all the unhurried day. As I rush out in the car, bustling to another busyness, time's hectic captive, but wondering all this time when the bloom will open up, and how, and why then. Science, perhaps, would tell me, yet is not the heart content to enfold and hold at least a little unspoken mystery? This one was written only a couple of weeks ago, so it's a June poem. It's called Open Door. June, and the door wide open. Silence, but for birdsong busying the air. Especially the blackbird lighting up the mulberry tree. Rain, drifting like thistledown, barely a caress. Frame of the door, a border to the world, an opening to be taken. Frame of the...
In the shadow of a door, out of line of sight, blown shut, a discernible diminishing of light. a low sound and its overtone vibrating through the latch as the jamb is struck. An oath soft-mouthed, the scraping of a chair pushed back. Then footfalls, naps of flint and chalk, and the tumbled snick of a key turned over in a lock. The backing of the wind from west to south, chinks between scumbled clouds snuffed out. The sky darkening fast, fingering notes of rain against the glass.
In my garden, I sometimes wonder why we pamper flowers that wither at a touch of frost, or need an army of forks to keep their enemy, the weed, at bay. A fragile truce with weeds the power of the flower bed, deep-rooted mafia of the undergrowth. Weed and weedy should denote determination, strength of character, not weakly. In hedgerow and meadow, the weed upgrades to wildflower, has high standing, protected rights. No bindweed grows in the hedgerow, only the pink flush morning glory, as lovely as any classy clematis. How dull the new moon grass of grass without the daisy and the dandelion, the bluebell and the buttercup. Away with pampered flowers, up with weeds. High June, and blood heat in the shade. A snail cooks stranded on the slates. Gorse pods explode like pistol shot across the border of oriental poppies. Across the border, oriental poppies flame. Suddenly, green bottles and wasps bombard the window panes. Paddling barefoot on the kitchen tiles, now is the time to trample carpets in the bath, hang them to tumble dry in Saharan winds. Salt as sex, sweat drips from every pore. An apricot sky ripens until the sun drops knifed, bloodying the horizon. Tinder dry, evening air, sparks and crackles, ignites the night.
Now, all right, two poems on writing poetry. Let us sit quietly beneath the plum tree in your garden and listen to the bird song, never once thinking of composing, not even when a high wind gusting through the ash stand attempts to break the spell and rooks lift off only to resettle, nor when blossom falling all about us drifts into our hair and laps and collects upon our shoulders, allowing the watery scent from each sunlit coronet to distill into a poem. Thinking of composing. You're too zen, mate.
Well, this is a very important thing because it combines the agricultural with the musical, and it's about the sheep, and it's called If Only a Sheep. If Only a Sheep is the title. If only a sheep stood still on a concert platform and robed in blue, then with its rows of ivories, its neat black legs bearing its noble weight, it would be a grand piano.
I promised this one for Annie. It's called Vespers. It's a love poem. You'll have to forgive me. I have sort of weak spots.
Here and there.
Here and there. Vespers. In the back runs into flight. My kisses like the breath of fishes. Rising in azure, lark's tones numb the ether, and dim with pleasure the evenings. My mouth prints like meltwater from your ankle to patella. Singe quartz into amethyst, opal to chalcedony. In the well of your navel, a tinderbox of sparks, spirals to a galaxy. In breathing in your skin, the night air fills its sable wing with a scent of slate maple and wetted almond blossom. Where my lips brush your lashes, a slewing out of stars amongst the rushes.
You've got quite a lot of notebooks there, Charlie.
Charlie's going to go all night.
You've got more than me, I think. I'll concede
Feel
now.
the weight of that. Alright, I don't know what's in here. Oh yes, okay.
That's a very small book. You won't have many in there. There's hope for me.
Yeah, listen. Okay.